Hey guys, so we starting with the studio project. This is day one and the truck has just arrived. We've got, I don't know, 2 weeks to get this studio done and Mpumi's laughing in the background.
I don't know if 2 weeks is going to be 2 weeks.
The guy who's heading this project said it's going to take 2 weeks and I believe it. The space is not huge.
What? It's massive.
As you guys, it's not that
It's
big.
massive. It's massive.
It's quite big,
Okay.
but it's not that big, and I'm hoping that we're gonna get it done. Based on how this goes, guys, actually, Mpumi and I have been contemplating if this goes well, which I believe it will. I think we might actually start doing this for fun, just renovating people's spaces, studios, offices.
Basically doing a Studio McGee sort of vibe on our YouTube
like
page.
the Houseleys, like we're going in. Like I actually need to get the overall, but you know, as time goes, let's go. This is Daddy's what?
Little Noe.
Oh, say hi, guys.
Hi guys.
All right, so do you wanna go see Daddy's studio?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
It's relatively easy because all the trusses and the joists are in, so we're just putting board straight onto the roof, and then it's going to take 3 weeks, but I'm gonna try and do it in 2 weeks.
Okay, this time keeps extending. Last time they knew 2 weeks, now it's 3 weeks.
Because there's a wall coming in, you have to build the frame all the way to the top, and those 2 panels that come in on the side. Build the frame, you fill it with insulation, and then you board it up.
Okay.
That is 63mm acoustic and heat insulation. This insulation, when it's hot, it'll keep the room cool. When it's cold, it'll keep the room warm. And it's an amazing soundproofing insulation.
Which is very important, guys, because I like to play my music super loud. So the neighbors aren't gonna complain, you know. Basically, this studio is my idea. Everything is my idea.
Okay.
I've had this. I saw, what's his name? I saw Cody Khan's studio, and I really liked it. It was simple, and the shape and structure looked very similar to the space that we're gonna be using.
It's called an attic.
It's an attic space, so we have this attic space which is away from the house, which was perfect for me. That's why.
Yes, because we won't have strangers in our house when you do recording sessions.
Yeah, guys, when you're a musician and you're having people over a lot, and you're also a family man, you have to make sure that people aren't coming into the house and, you know, frustrating or upsetting the kids. But the energies, some of the energies aren't. So you got to make sure that the space is outside of the house, and you know, people can maneuver in and out without actually disrupting the family. So that was so big for us. Part of the reason why we bought this house, and yeah, I'm excited, man. The reason I have this jacket so high is because I had a flu and now I'm kind of just getting better, so I don't want to go back, and it's definitely a flu. So I'm just gonna show you guys on my phone currently where I'm working from. So this is actually gonna be Mpumi's office. It's a vacant room right now, so this is where I've set up for the meanwhile, for the next 2 weeks. The room sounds really great, I think, actually. I think it's because it's carpet on the floor, and these are my new monitors. Guys, these monitors are so fire. I highly recommend. So this is where I'm set up right now, and I'll be doing basically updates on the progress of what's happening in the studio. Obviously today they were just delivering stuff, just setting up and clearing out stuff, and tomorrow they're gonna be starting the work. So so let's just quickly talk about why it's actually important to have a studio space and why I need it and what exactly I'm going to be using it for. Because as much as, you know, it's about aesthetics, and I care a lot about how a place looks, obviously, because we shoot content, so you have to care about that. But at the same time, a place needs to be practical and it needs to work for your creative flow. There's quite a few reasons. So obviously of late, I've been doing quite a lot of collaborations with artists, and with me, I've always recorded my own vocals, and I just feel like I've always held myself back in terms of quality And you know, when you're doing stuff yourself and you're just the only one, it's easy to get away with doing mediocre work, you know. And a lot of people won't hear the difference, but in terms of quality, I could always hear that, you know, my stuff can sound a little better. Whenever I listen to other artists, bigger artists, I wasn't happy with what I was putting out. So I just started investing, you know, in equipment, in gear, and just having better stuff to kind of compensate for the lack of quality that was happening. And yeah, and as you do that stuff, you realize that it's such a ripple effect. At the end of the day, you have to cover all your bases. And with music, the room matters so much. Where you record the sound matters just as much as, you know, the type of equipment that you're using. So it doesn't really help if you have a really nice mic, but you're recording it into a terrible interface, or you're recording it in a terrible room. So I've just slowly been taking care of all those issues, making sure that I have the right equipment to achieve what I want to do with my music and with my sound. And yeah, and so the room was very crucial. And that's why we're focusing a lot on the acoustic treatment of the room to make sure that it sounds great and that, you know, it's soundproofed properly so we can push levels as much as we want. And yeah, but on the other side of things, it's also because a lot of our work, or a lot of my work as a creative, has evolved. I've started doing a lot more video editing. I've started doing a lot more, you know, productions for other people. And so I need a space where I can professionally offer certain services, like, you know, voiceovers. I've always wanted to do professional voiceovers, but if you're going to do that, again, quality is such a big deal when you're doing something so specific like voiceovers for professional, you know, outlets, or for it to be delivered on professional networks. So looking at stuff like that and evolving as a musician, and what I'm trying to do with my future as a musician in the long run, it made me realize that I need to have a space that is dedicated to that workflow. You know, when you have kids, it becomes so hard to work if you are in a space that is basically like a communal space for your family, because you can't constantly be kicking the kids out or telling them to keep quiet because you're trying to record something. It just hinders the flow. So having a space where I can kind of be away from the house and be in a studio, be in a workspace where everything about that space is meant to basically creatively inspire me, is just super, super key. And yeah, and lastly, whenever you get to realize childhood dreams, you should definitely do it. And so yeah, that's one of the reasons. I mean, for me to take something that's in my mind and bring it to life is something I've always wanted to do. I've always dreamt about having my own studio space that caters for my needs and that does everything I need. So that's one of the reasons. We've kind of laid it out in such a way, and I'll show you guys the layout as we go. But the idea of this studio is to have a section that's obviously focused just on the music, and where I'm gonna be basically like a desk setup like what I have behind me, where I can kind of put my laptop and all my devices and all my whatever that I'm using. And then I also need a section to put like a couch where I can chill. I'm gonna have a little kitchenette and a bar fridge, and then I'm gonna have a screen, either for like PlayStation nights or like viewing, watching movies. Obviously this will be a studio, so the sound's gonna be insane. So it's kind of also gonna act as a man cave type of place. That's also an escape for me. So I'm super excited about that stuff. But that's just stuff that I'm gonna obviously continuously add on to the studio, because the space is quite, I think it's big enough to do all of that stuff. And also, I want it to feel comfortable. I don't want to be in a studio setting that feels corporate-y. I want it to feel like, yeah, I'm at my studio, you know. So I want to have, like I said, a bar fridge, a coffee machine. I want to have a kitchenette. I want to be able to do all these things. And yeah, so I'm excited for you guys to see how this thing turns out. And yeah, man, thank you guys for watching this video. Please do subscribe if you want to keep up to date with what's happening, and also watching some of the free to worship stuff that we do on this page. Yeah, see you guys in the next one.